Good morning, guys. It's Paula. I want to welcome you back to my channel today. I have started a new junk journal and wanted to do an introduction of it and let you help me put the pieces on the cover, and I'll show you some of the papers. And if we have time, we'll make some embellishments and we can create together. All right, so this book has a theme with deer and Santa and really anything, but it is the red and black check color scheme. I will show you real quickly the papers. These are all the tucks and cuts and belly bands. This is the front cover of the first signature. And I'll just kind of flip through and show you the papers. Here's a couple of the plaids. I have thrown a little bit of gold in there, but it's mostly kind of a maroonish red also. And some of the paper's double back and some of it's not. But it is definitely something that would look great with a deer. And you know, kind of not woods. It is woodsy looking, but it's still homey Christmas. Okay, here's the second one. They're the same papers. They're just in a different order. I just put my favorite ones on the front and in the center. See, they're all just kind of arranged a little different. There's the reindeer. Okay, now, that's the papers. And you're looking at the fabric. I covered this book. This is the inside of, or the outside of the book. Now, I'm going to show you the inside of the book. It has the red and black checks, and it has the same fabric on the spine that it has on the outside. And if you notice, I put the word Christmas over the inside seams. I thought that turned out really cute. So I'm going to fold it in so you can see what it will look like. Here's the back. Here's the front. Okay. Now I'm going to lay it flat while we decorate it. And actually, I think what I'll do is cover up so it's not so hard to see. It's just kind of put some stuff over here on the other side so that it's less confusing when you kind of watch the process. Let me push it up a little bit. I was having a hard time deciding what I wanted to put on the front. I knew I wanted to use this little deer. I just have liked him from the very beginning. I've looked at him on every kit that I've put together. Well, not kit, but, you know, journal. I'm sorry. I'm dry this morning, so I have to take a drink every now and then. So I wanted to go with this kind of khaki gold. Well, it's khaki and a cream, and then it's got a gold glitter on it. So, and it's not an overabundance of gold glitter, but so, and I knew I wanted to use this Merry Christmas. So what I did, and I want to put this up on foam. So I cut out some fun foam that had adhesive on one side. And there we go. So this is what I decided on. I have inked everything as far as this goes. But I'm deciding where to put it. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with a traditional top center, because I've played with it all over the place. And then I'm going to put some, I like layering around the main image, because I'm going to show you what it would look like if I did not layer around it, so you can get an idea. Okay, here's how it would look if I just put the two colors I really wanted to put, was the red and black. See, it kind of blends. And then when you lay him on there, he just is kind of, oh, there's a deer on some red plaid. Now, let's just put a little bit of the third color, which is the khaki goldish color. Now, that's just with that part, but look how he pops. But the red is still blending. So, let's watch how it looks if we put one more mat under that. Big difference. And so this is what we're going to do. And then we're going to take the Merry Christmas sign and put it just to the right. Excuse me. And this is how he'll look. Now, he is got a white background. I could ink him up a little bit more, but I don't want him to be super dark, because there is white inside the papers. And, you know, the trees have more of a off-white, khaki white, and then a khaki. So, this first things first, let's go ahead and put the foam on the back of the title. It's not really a title, but it's just a sentiment. Just want to center it up, and if you notice, I cut it a little bit smaller than the image. And I did that because I don't want it to stick out once it's on top of my deer. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue the deer to the stripe. I kind of work from front to back when I do this sort of thing. And fortunately, we have a decent bottle so far today of Fabri-Tac. Shh, I don't want Fabri-Tac to realize that it's behaving, but it is. Okay. You just want to center it. And again, when I started off with my deer image, and I wanted it to just be the next size up for the mat behind the deer. So I just cut a 1/4 inch bigger on all 4 sides. So you would just measure your image, and then you would measure the bottom part of your image, and if it's 3, you would make it 3 1/4. Then you'd turn it and measure the side of your image, and if it's 4, you would do it at 4 1/4. So that's just kind of a little hint on how to do matting. Now, sometimes I double the mat size, which is what I've done on this red one. I wanted it to really pop off the page, and the way to get it to do that is to make a mat, one of the mats, a little bit bigger. And so yeah, I hope you guys are having a good morning. So far, I'm just trying to wake up. I like to do my videos in the morning before the puppy gets all crazy. She makes it hard for me to get my work done. Okay, here we go. And in the morning, she's just more cooperative. Okay, now you notice that this mat is twice as wide. I'm trying to get it centered here. Let me kind of look. Yeah, there we go. Got a little bit of glue right there popping out its ugly head. I put a little bit too much. I always try to get the corners well because that's what's going to hold it down and keep it in its position. And you don't want the corners hooking on something and getting torn off, you know. If you rub it while it's, after it's had a few seconds to dry, it will just flake off. You could do the same thing with your hands. It's like you push one down to get the glue off, and then all the corners decide to pop in and have a party with the other glue. I was rubbing on that and it kind of brought it down a little bit. So, yeah. This is probably the most time-consuming part, is just getting this glue off. This is, you know, because I had in my head what I wanted to do. It was pretty fast to just cut the pieces out, and I didn't want to bore you with cutting out papers. So, I'll get my little handy-dandy eraser. It erases any residue that might be left by the glue when you rub it. Sometimes it doesn't all come off. And if your glue's not freshly wet and it has had a few minutes to dry, you can rub the glue off with this too. Real close. The thing about getting glue on something dark, if you don't get it off, it's noticeable. Even if it dries clear, I can tell. I don't know about you guys, but I can tell the difference. Okay, so this is how it looks with 3 mats. Now I'm going to flip it over. Okay. Okay, there we go. I worked on this book, getting this book covered yesterday, pretty much all day. That was, and then I drug out my, so, you know, I just drug out a bunch of embellishment stuff and just thought, I really I don't have anything in mind other than I want to use some of my Christmas elements. Just because this paper came with some, and I like to incorporate them when they do, because it just makes your Christmas books that much cuter. And then if I need to make something, I make something. You know, it's all in what you like, but there's so many cute little images and different little icons and elements and anything you want to call them out there. Okay, I'm looking for glue so it doesn't dry. You know, once it's dried really good and it's been there all day, it's harder to get the glue residue off. I'm just looking under the light. Yeah, you can cover a book. Very simple. Make it very simply covered. Now, I was going to use, my first thought was to put a doily. I had this khaki color doily. I'll show you. I was going to use, well, this isn't the exact one, but it looks like it. Only it's a little smaller than this one. This one had hearts, and I just didn't think, you know. I could still do that, but I don't want it to get overly gaudy looking, you know. And so I decided on doing a clean design that would be good for any kind of Christmas daily documenting. I'll get it out in a minute. It is like 7 o'clock. And anyway, kind of showed it to my husband last night, and I said, I can't decide. And he had a hard time too. He thought it looked good both ways, but he thought it was cleaner and more durable with it like this. I think it was just he's a guy, and you know guys are. So we're going to do like this. Guys like more clean and straight. But see, I'm going to bring this down a little bit, I think. Maybe down and in just a little. That way we have the same amount of space at the top as we do the bottom, or real close. Okay. I got the cutest paper that I had ordered with a pink Christmas that is so beautiful. One of them is I can never remember what it is. I just know it's Recca something. I'll have to get the book and show you this beautiful paper from Michael's. And I know everybody knows Michael's brand, but I can never remember it. And I know it's something simple. Recollections. That's what it is. Hello. I knew it would come to me at some point. They've got, I was in there the other day and they had their Hot Buy paper pads for $6. Remember when they were $5? Now they're $6. But anyway, so I thought, well, I've got to have that. Well, they didn't have it in the big packs. And there was no guaranteeing that they'd get any, is what they told me. They said they'd get one more shipment before Christmas. And I'm thinking, there was hardly any. It looked like it might have been one box of Christmas paper. Okay, now, let me kind of lean that up so I can make sure it's straight. I've got so much junk on the other side. Let's see. Well, let's see if we can move it over a little bit. The problem is when you move one, they all want to move. I should have held this up sooner. Okay, the outside part's fine. It's this inside part. It's not perfect. But it's really super close. I think it's kind of taken hold. That's why you really have to make any changes you're going to make while you're working on that image, because the sad thing is the images move, you know, as when you put one on, the other ones, you know, decide they want to move too. There. Had it straight and then I got it crooked again. Okay. That looks pretty darn good. So, we're going to add the title or the sentiment on here. You can call it whatever you want. I'm calling it the Merry Christmas Dear Book. Putting glue on the foam. Now, it is foam, so you want to make sure you have plenty on there whenever you use it. I adhered the title to the sticky part. And, yeah. So, let me kind of hold it up. I'm going to lay it down. I think I'll get a better... Now I'll hold it up so we can see it. Let's see what it's looking like. When you push down on the foam, you have to remember also that it will be more slippery than just a piece of paper because it's foam, especially once you add the glue to it, to the foam. There we go. Cute, cute, guys. I've been wanting to make something with one of these silhouette type deers for some time and just never have had a reason. And then when I saw this paper in the store, I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to use on that. And I had bought the paper early on this year. It's called let me look here. I can tell you the name of the paper I used. You know, and I did mix in some extra sheets of stuff too, but there was a paper, Mad Plaid, I think is the name of it, Mad Plaid. And then I grabbed out some of Hobby Lobby's Paper Studio plaid and the little red car paper as well. So we're going to work with both of those while making this book. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to drag out, I just drug out a bunch of different things out of my roll around that sits next to my chair where I put all my tea stain stuff and so forth. I'm going to set this over here just a second. I want it to be able to dry where it doesn't get mutilated by other stuff that I'm going to be working on. Going to get my ink out here because not everything is inked. And get my glue going here. And we should be set. Okay, so we've already got a few things. This is the paper. I've already cut out all of these. I will ink all of this watching television. Okay, you know. And I don't make it perfect because it doesn't have to be perfect when you ink it. It's just, excuse me, it's simply to make it, the edges stand out a little bit better. Okay, now I'm going to grab over. I have a few things I kind of stuck together already. I got to remember which stack they are. Okay, now these are pretty much simple little things. So I just thought we'd start at the top and work our way down. But let's do this one over here that I haven't got all the pieces picked up yet. There we go. I think that's got everything on it. Okay, this is an inventory tag that came from Denise's shop, A Tattered Dream. Hi, Denise. I will link her store down below. And you can go shop. Denise has, I'm sure you guys already know who Denise is, but you don't know her from me and my thoughts with Denise. She has really cute stuff. The inventory and the bags came from her place. And I use a lot of her stuff. I use her library cards, her guest checks, the little mini tags. I just love these little tags right here. Whoops, wrong one. I love the little tags like this, the price tags. I use her little mini tags. I use her time cards. And I just recently bought some of the big time cards, the ones that fold. I've only seen one person use these so far, and that's not a bad thing. But, I mean, you look at this and you think, how can I use this? Well, you can go crazy on it. You need to go watch Gail. She did one that was incredible. Hi, Gail. Hope you're doing good. Anyway, and I'll link Gail down below as well, if you don't know who she is. You fold it, and then you decorate all the different sides. I mean, Gail put flip outs, fold outs, flip downs. I mean, it ended up being like a little mini journal when she was done. You literally could make this into a journal. And I mean, they're very reasonable. You get 10, I think, 10 or 12, and it's a reasonable price. Denise is real good. She's very fair, and I think if you haven't been to her shop, you'll enjoy shopping there. She gets all kinds of things. I just named a few. Okay, so now I decided that we would do this one first. I'm going to move some of these over. I kind of just stuck things together. I want to use one of these bags, and I'm going to make it have a hinge, and it will come out on the page. But I thought first we could decorate the tag that will be inside the bag when it's all said and done, like this. Okay, so the first thing I would do is I would ink the tag. Now this has been tea stained, and so you don't have to worry about a whole lot. Just do the edge, and that's what I do on the tea stained, is I just go around and hit the edge. Now, I would do the back as well, but for purposes of time, I'll go back and do the backs. Okay, and I just took my triangle punch that I bought at at Hobby Lobby, and it's an EK Success, I guess. I'm not sure, but it just says EK on the back. And I like these punches because they're easy on your hands. I punched out 3 different Tim Holtz green papers, all the same size. And you could make the sizes different if you wanted to. You could use different colors. I just decided to use different prints. And I punched out a little star from this Paper Studio punch, and then there's a little stem. I just kind of freehanded it out of some green. So what we're going to do basically is a little scene. I think instead of just letting it be like floating there, I think we'll put a little bit of green, some of this green plaid along the bottom. And I think I have a strip already cut over here in my pile. You should see my scraps. You should see my desk. So we're just going to do like this, because I like it when it doesn't look like it's floating. Any image, you know, not just this one. It looks weird if they're just kind of stuck on a paper and they're standing and they're up in the air. Do you know what I'm saying? I think you do. Okay, so I'm going to ink all these little pieces as we go along, and put them together. So I'm going to talk with you for a minute. I know a lot of you have been praying for my grandson. He got to go home, and I just want to say, first of all, I really appreciate it. And if you have been one of those, I really, really appreciate it. He's been through a lot in his short little life, and he understands now that he's been sick, and so he's super smart. But he got to go back to school yesterday, and he cried and didn't want to stay. Of course, he was clingy to Mama, but his teacher is so good with him that she had him settle down within an hour, so, and she has said that she wished she had 20 little boys that, that were like him, that just comes in and just cooperates. Depends on what you're doing with him, whether he cooperates. But he did okay his first day. And I think today will be better. But he had a high fever. They never really could figure out what the fever was coming from. But his joints were hurting him, his hands and his knees, and it would hurt him to walk. And this is all something new over the last month. We knew he had issues with osteoporosis, and that's because of the high amount of chemo he had at one point. And so a lot of the medications he's been on. So he but he's just, he's taken a growth spurt. He finally, in the last 6 months decided to start eating, and he grew 3 to 4 inches in height and like 4 pounds. And if you knew what he looked like, you'd know that that's miraculous. And so he had a lot of bone growth that showed up on all of his x-rays. I'm going to put the little stem down first. And none of that was negative. None of the x-rays were negative. Just showed that he had bone growth, which we knew he was growing because his little size 2 pants were now too short on him. They were dragging the ground, and now they're too short. So we knew he was growing. They think that he might have JRA, which is, if you don't know what that is, it's junior rheumatoid arthritis. And I hate that for him. But, we still have him, and we're happy that we do. And he's a happy little guy, and so much fun to be around. And it's so cute that he's so cute, and he's a little guy compared to everybody else, but he can defend himself, and he knows what's fair and not fair, and he's cute to watch. But he's growing, and that's been like a miracle. And so Mom might have to step up and buy him some size 3s. I think she did buy him some size 3 pants. The length is good. They're still a little big on him, but they'll shrink. But I said all this. He's going next week to Children's Hospital in Cincinnati in Ohio, which is where he had his bone marrow transplant 3 years ago. And he does not have leukemia. It's not a cancer or anything like that, but it's an autoimmune issue. But anyway, he's going to see the rheumatologist there. He's going to see his regular doctor and the endocrinologist and get to the bottom of, why he just decided to run a high fever. But he's doing better. If he takes Motrin, his joints are better. But he's in kindergarten, and he's kind of doing the split kindergarten because he's so small for his age. And so he's having fun. He's already got him a little buddy, and he's doing great. And I just wanted to thank you guys and let you know how much I appreciate you keeping him in your thoughts and prayers. Okay, so I'm trying to decide if we need to do something different or something else. But I do have some gold pen. So some people don't like to doodle on their pages. trying to get this big blob of ink, or not ink. There. I think I'm just going to do like a messy kind of line, just a straight line, because I feel like it needs something going on around the outside. Now, you may not be able to see this, but in person, it is effective. Now, I just did one line. Sometimes I will do, when I do messy lines, sometimes I'll do, you know, 2 or 3 lines. That way, if you do a crooked line, you don't have to worry about it, because you're going to make it look messy on purpose. Okay, so there is our inventory tag. And I did this project to point out to you guys that you don't have to have elaborate things to put on your items. You just need to get your punches out. I'm going to put a gold one here instead. It's a little bit smaller, but let's put one on the back too, so it will be cohesive. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and ink this while we're talking about. You can do the simplest things. You just look at your punches and think about Christmas and think, okay, what can I do with this star, with this triangle, with this circle, or this tag punch, whatever it is, and do it. And you can do it on some scraps and see if you like it. You know, that would be the first thing I would do. Okay, so I'm thinking this is going to go on the inside. And it's still wet. So I'm trying to think what kind of tie for the top. I don't want to do, see, he just fits in there, but so we have to have a tie that announces that he's there. And I don't want to do, I think I'm going to do muslin. Let me grab my muslin right here. And I think I'm going to do a muslin tie and ink it up pretty good. Make it darker than some. And then just tie a knot. And I think it'll look good that way. Let me see how much I want to use of this. It's not going to be anything fancy because I'm just going to cut a knot. I don't want it quite as fat as it is here at the top, and it's too thin to tear. So I'm just going to kind of do a messy trim on it. I think rag ties on the tops. Oops, started to put glue instead of ink. I think rag tops on the tops of muslin, like muslin or just even a fabric, are so effective, especially if you're going for something that's more vintage looking, or, and I'm not necessarily doing that, but I like using the rags. I like using scraps and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to pull it back out so you can kind of see what the effects of this is. And when I tie something like this, I don't always double tie it because it will be very bulky. I just tie it really good, really tight. And then I just kind of let it do its own thing, or you can just let it do whatever, or you can shape it. And you can cut the corners down and make them look more like a ribbon, or you can just leave it like this where it looks more like something you would see in the pioneer days. Into the bag it goes. And now you can see the difference. Now you know it's there, even though it's the same length as the bag. So run out and get you some bags and some of these inventory tags from that Denise sells, and you won't be disappointed. Okay, she also carries the, let me see what I did with it. The glassine bags. This one's been tea stained or coffee stained, I think. And I don't know, I hadn't decided yet what I'm going to do with this one, but this comes from her shop too. Okay, let me see what we're going to do next. Now, I've got a lot of things that are lined up to do here that are just simple. And, you know, you can get the library cards from her shop as well. Although I think this particular one, I know I got this from her shop. I think this one's one I had for a long time, and I grabbed it out. I like to put, if I don't have anything planned for the front inside cover, I like to put the little library cards and stuff in there because it just looks cute, being that it's a book. And so I want to kind of use paper on this that's going to match the inside of the cover and the fabric. And so I only had one sheet of gold, this gold paper. So I thought, since I don't have very much of it, I'll just use it there because that's where I want it to color coordinate anyway. And so I'm not doing anything super fancy. I'm just going to cover this with the stripe and put the card down inside. And now you can use these pockets more than one way. You don't have to attach them to the inside of the book. You can just slip them into a pocket somewhere else if you want. I kind of like to add multiple things inside as well. I fussy cut this little stack of paper packages. I fussy cut it from one of the journaling cards that came on some of the paper. And I just thought that I liked that it was all plaid. I think I'm going to put some either sari silk or muslin on here to give it some separation. I'm thinking if I have a piece of muslin that's tea stained in my bag, I don't know if I've used it all, then I wouldn't have to worry about inking it. I need to get some more tea stain and put in my little bag here. That's where I always put my, trying to decide, I don't know if this is going to be what I want to use until I cut it and look at it, guys. You know how that is. Okay. So I also had several people talk to me about, which is great. I love your comments. I love your suggestions. If you have a question and if you think it's going to hurt my feelings, that takes a lot to hurt my feelings. So, you know, don't worry about it. Just as long as you're nice to each other. And as long as we all play nicely. I want to learn from you as well as you learn from me. So don't hesitate to give me suggestions or whatever. Okay, so I'm just going to worry about that one side as far as inking it up. And I don't know if this is going to be big enough or not. We may have to. Yeah, I see you can tell the difference. I could even kind of tilt it a little bit if I wanted to. And then kind of tilt the packages the other way and make it kind of just a little sloppier. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to hold it where I've got it because I like that place. Put it on. Can you even believe that it is getting close to Christmas? I mean, Halloween is next week. I just can't even believe it. My oldest grandson is going to be 15. His name is Elliot Xavier, and he is my sweetheart. I love all my grandchildren, but he's my sweetheart. I love them all. I can say something. There's something special to me about every one of them. And it's funny. You that have a lot of grandkids probably agree with this, but there's always something about one that you love. Something about their personality and something they do for you or with you that takes you back to the day they were born and the first time you held them. And he's going to be 15. He will be able to get his permit. His dad said, he's not ready for his permit. I said, well, no, he's not. He hasn't taken driver's ed yet. I said, you let that baby get his driver's license. I said, I remember us going around and around in circles about him getting his license. But anyway, he said, I will, Mom. And I'm like thinking, that won't happen anytime soon, I'm sure. But he's got to get him in driver's ed. And I said, you know that you were driving in parking lots at night when everybody was in bed. Dad would take you and let you drive in some big parking lots. But I remember when I was young, they would just let you get on the street and practice. As long, you know, that's what my parents did. So, oh, glue. Glue, glue, glue. It just wants to ooze out on the right side. So you can just do, like I said, you can just collage up anything, pretty much. And put it on the front of your package. Now, I know these packages look wonky. My word. But you can add something here. And that's what I'm going to look and see what I got over here. That might look good there. But I just wanted it at a tilt because I like the way it looked. I'm looking at some different ornaments, and there's also ornaments in this book. And see that? I think they're a little on the big side, but you could use them if you wanted to. There's another wreath. There's all kinds of goodies. There's even this little, how about we put that there? Merry Christmas. And it's made out of that cork. I didn't have any plans for this, so we'll just use this. I didn't have any plans in general. If I want to be totally honest. I just thought, I'm going to stack some things together. Because I missed getting on and crafting with you guys. Creating stuff that would be fun for the Christmas books. Okay. So, starting in 2 weeks, I will be gone for a week. So just don't forget about me. Just watch some old videos and watch for me to be back. I don't want you guys to run off and leave me. I want you to watch some of my old videos or watch some of Gail's videos. There's a lot of good people out on YouTube to watch. But don't forget to come find out when I'm back. Hit that notification button. Hit that bell. And it will notify you when I'm back. It will send you my first video. So, I don't want you to miss it. Okay. So, I did a Frosty the Snowman book. And I stuck a mitten through here, you know, which was really cute. So I may come back and add something to this side right here, but right at this moment, I don't have anything to put there. So, let me see. I feel like this, these packages don't separate. They look too flat. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of lines on some of the lines to see if I can get it to pop a little bit better. I don't know if you know what I mean, but I feel like all the reds in this package are blending with each other because there's so many different plaids. So I'm just going to kind of outline just like some of them. I won't outline all of them. But like, see, this bow has gone up into the other package and you can't really tell it's there. That was the first thing I noticed when I was looking at it, was can't even see those bows. You would have thought they would have designed them differently. When I do something like this, I don't like go real slow and try to make it perfect. I just keep my eye on the line and do it as best I can. But you do want to try to stay on the image because I did fussy cut it out. And when you get close to the edge, it's kind of hard to keep it straight. Okay. I did this bow because it was blending. They should have put a green one up there instead of a... So I really feel like now I got to do this bow. All right. Can you notice the difference? Plus, I feel like you can see the separation, and it looks like it's more dimensional now. That's just, I'm going to go ahead and do these bows just barely. And they're on the edge too, so you have to be careful. Did not plan on outlining the whole thing, but it doesn't look good if you don't. I can tell by looking at this one that it needs it. Okay, so I'll just do this bow and then we'll be done with this part. But see, I think that looks better. What do you think? Okay, now, so that part is done. I mean, we kind of have a bare spot right there, but I do know what we could put there. Sometimes when you're collaging, if you don't put something, here, this comes with the kit too. It's like a, let's put that on there. That's cute. And it's popped up, so it looks like it's got some dimension. I'm just doing the white edges. I'm not getting it onto the gold. But I like when you can add a little bit of dimension. And we've got dimension on the cork title, so kind of going to overlap the packages a little bit. There we go. Let's see how far in we are. Oh my goodness, are we already? You guys, we can only do one more small thing. I'm sorry. I'll try to start a second video after this one, if my battery will hold out. Okay, so let me see something small. Let's do this wreath. Now it's on gold and white stripe. And so I'm just going to do around the edge so that the core of the inside of the paper is not going to show. And then on this one, going to do the back and the sides. Okay. Now this is a tag that I coffee stained. It has a tiny little hole right there. So you want to line your bow up with that little hole, and we're just going to glue it on. Now I'm going to put the glue onto the white tag instead of onto the wreath because there's just a slight difference in size. And I don't want, I'm going to turn this over. I know my bow's facing me, so I can, there's just, yeah, it's just a tiny little difference. And I decided that it was so small that I wasn't going to be concerned about it. But I want whoever gets the book to be able to journal on the back the best you can. I'm just going to go around and hit the edge of that wreath. Now, got to get my hole punch, and I'll get some string out. Can't have a tag without string. Okay, I don't have a teeny tiny hole punch, so we'll have to go with a bigger hole punch. Sometimes when it's double thickness, my hands just aren't strong enough. Try this again. It hurts my joints when I try to, but I have my handy dandy crocodile right here, so never lets me down. I just don't like to get it out if I don't have to drag it out. Okay, there we go. Now they did give me an extra bow if I wanted to do it with dimension, but on this particular thing, I don't think I would do that. So, you're going to put your twine through there, pull it straight up, tie a knot, pull your string straight up, wrap around your finger, and tie it in a knot at the top. Sometimes this is trickier because, especially if you don't cut your twine long enough, which obviously I didn't here, so I'm having to work it through. But there you go. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video. And if I have enough charge left on my phone or enough room left on my phone, I'll come back and do another create with me. All right, guys, have a good day. Give me a thumbs up if you would, and if you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate you doing so. Thank you, guys. Bye.